First thing that I would really talk about, take you back to the context in which the digital payment is being talked about. The context is one of really, the context becomes very dramatic and becomes clearer when the demonetization was announced on 8th of November. When PM Modi announced at 8 p.m. and the whole country is really agog really what he's going to speak, at once on the stroke of a pen, by really just announcing 84% of the currency in circulation really becomes just a paper. 84% of currency in circulation. About 18 lakh crores worth of currency in circulation, about 14 to 15 lakh crores of money becomes piece of paper. So the people who had cash, now they can't use it for transactions. They will get the replacement value by exchange, but they cannot do the transactions. And a few transactions were permitted, as you know, for buying the railway ticket, by the petroleum, by the oil, just for a few days to really take care of this. What you witnessed in the next 50 days is of the country's 1.8 billion people, 800 million, possibly 700 million adult people, and out of that almost 400, 500 adult population at some point or other standing in the queue either to draw cash from the ATM or whatever 500 rupee, 1000 rupee notes they had to exchange them so that they get the new 2000 rupee notes or new 500 rupee notes. The whole country was put to a lot of challenging circumstances. And there were in the reports, a lot of talk was there, whether this is the right move, whether this is the wrong move, whether this will really deal with the objective. Objective was to fight corruption, to fight black money, to deal with the terrorist financing, whether it would really mean. I suppose the results as to whether it meets the objective or not, that possibly the economists and the historian, after a couple of years, they will really do a great analysis, or the business schools like Professor Ramanna's business school, the students will really deal with the business case. But one thing came out very clearly. The initiative that Reserve Bank of India and various banks had initiated quite 2 to 3 years back in a vigorous way to make India a less cash society, all on a sudden, that vision or the action that the Reserve Bank and the banks or the institutions like us, we were working, all on a sudden, it gets a big push by no other than Prime Minister. Prime Minister himself started talking about less cash society. Digital payment is good because digital payments means traceability. Digital payments means less of currency to print. Digital currency means the greater tax compliance. Digital currency means you cannot really give in the corrupt way bundles of cash or a big suitcase of money to another person. Digital payment means really less of friction. The digital payment means the economy would really move faster because the velocity of money will really go up. The digital payment means building the database about the digital habits or the financial worthiness of the person and do a lot of analytics, data analytics, develop the credit worthiness. Digital payment means those who did not have access to credit system. I'm not talking about banking system. Banking system had been taken care with PMJDY scheme, but the who did not have access to formal credit system, they becomes credit rated and they come as a part of the credit bureau. All the benefits, long-term benefits come. Today, the country had lot of people with one level, X level of financial transactions. Tomorrow, as our economic prosperity grows, we will have more of transactions. There would be more people who would be traveling, they would for leisure, more people who would be spending on good food, they would have good breakfast. Those who cannot buy milk for really at a glass of milk, every children would get a glass of milk as a part of the breakfast. They can have fruit juice, they can really do many kind of transactions. As the transactions would grow, the dealing with all these transactions by way of cash would be a challenge. Moving towards a less cash society is also a strategy for dealing with bigger problems at a future date. The way we really deal with future in mind, what would happen, the father is thinking, I have 2 sons, I'm building a house, tomorrow my sons would get married, they should have two separate bedroom, the way they would really live, the attached bath would be there. The same way for the keeping in future you really build a house. The same way keeping the future transaction in mind, we will not be able to deal with cash, we need to deal with the digital payments. The country cannot afford just a small percentage of people paying income tax. The country needs the taxation base has to be widened. Then only the revenue will come. The country needs to really create platform to deal with the future. So less cash society is a vision. It is in that context that building a less cash society becomes very, very important. NPCI became relevant because NPCI was already dealing with Government of India in the implementation of their JAM Trinity. Many of the management students are sitting here. JAM's Trinity that you would have heard about: J, Jandhan account with RuPay card; A is Aadhaar; M on mobile-based financial services. The JAM Trinity. This JAM Trinity is the really cornerstone of the great initiatives that Reserve Bank had started a few years back, and now it was carried forward by the Prime Minister, the new government, and the institution like Mr. Mishra of Vietnam is really pursuing financial inclusion. This financial inclusion is facilitated by the digital payment mechanism. And NPCI is closely involved. NPCI has the RuPay card as the branded card, as an alternative to international card scheme like Visa and MasterCard. NPCI manages the Aadhaar mapper for Aadhaar-based payments and Aadhaar-based financial transactions. NPCI manages the IMPS, that money transfer system that you would have heard. IMPS, the NPCI manages UPI. NPCI also developed BHIM product, BHIM product, that during the demonetization period, it is a UPI software created at the instance of Prime Minister himself. The name BHIM, Bharat Interface of Money, for money, that was given by Prime Minister himself. In fact, going by the name of Bhimrao Ambedkar. Bhimrao Ambedkar was the first monetary economist with a PhD from India, who had also recommended the creation of Reserve Bank of India. So I would say that this is a befitting honor to Bhimrao Ambedkar, who envisaged Reserve Bank of India for money management, for monetary economist. Against his name it was given. So in the JAM Trinity, NPCI is closely involved. NPCI also manages all interbank ATM transactions. Anytime you go to an ATM and draw cash, and the ATM belongs to a bank other than your bank, at the back end NPCI is there. NPCI manages the check clearing for the whole country. NPCI manages all dividend payment, interest payment, salary payment for almost the entire country and the corporates. NPCI manages the different kind of Aadhaar-based payment systems, really of all the state governments, including the state government transactions of Odisha, which Mr. Jena was really, our Jena Saab really talked about. So NPCI is closely involved. So JAM Trinity we are involved, day-to-day transactions are involved, and very recently we have really come out with the payment system that we called BTT Trinity, bill payment system. The country has crores and crores of bills, electricity bill, 245 million households. If not really a few million households do not have electricity as yet, quite a significant number has got the electricity connection. They have got bills. All the shops and establishments, they have the electricity bills, telephone bills, broadband bills, the dongle that you buy, really their bills, all the mobile prepaid bills, the water bill, and different kind of bills that is there. The bills need to be digitized. It cannot really go on people really queuing up in front of the cash counters of electricity board. It has to go digital. That is B part. Toll and transit. Toll collection in the national highway, if you have seen at the toll gates, the long queues that really gets built up, the truck, buses, cars, they are really come to a standstill. They keep on paying really 40 rupees, 120 rupees, 300 rupees. And the car is really keeps on condition, the kind of loss to the exchequer by way of really oil consumption. How the trucks, cars can really move at a speed. And as the truck, bus or car or goes, automatically toll collection would be done the way it takes place in many developed countries. That is the toll system and the transit system. The way we have already long distance train, we have really already digitized by way of buying the railway ticket, IRCTC, that has mostly gone electronic. Cash counters at the railway stations are hardly few. The same way, the local train tickets, how they can be digitized. In the big cities, the metro cities, when a lot of intercity city buses are there, maybe in the Bhubaneswar city, really city buses, maybe X number, maybe few hundreds, but in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, really in thousands of buses, people commute. How the people can really just tap and go, and the transactions can be made electronic. The whole transaction should move smoothly and faster, and pilferage, leakage would be reduced. So that needs to be done. So the BTT payment, so JAM Trinity payment, traditional checks, ATM payment, and the BTT payments, all should go electronic, and that would help build a less cash society. So it is in that initiative that NPCI is very closely associated. All these activities were previously done by Reserve Bank of India. Das Saab, really, we know, we worked in the same department. We know how difficult and tedious the work is. And in the Reserve Bank departments, it has to be done. The Reserve Bank does many jobs. Reserve Bank is the central bank of the country. Reserve Bank is the custodian of money, the foreign exchange. Reserve Bank issues currency notes. Reserve Bank does really supervisor of banks. Reserve Bank regulator of banks. Reserve Bank really does a lot of developmental work, hundreds of work. So this day-to-day activities of managing the payment system should preferably be done by a specialist institution. So that is how NPCI was born, as a specialist institution. And we are fortunate that as the journey began, we worked with the Government of India, we worked with the banks in financial inclusion initiatives as well, by way of, Jan Dhan program with the RuPay card, by way of Aadhaar payment systems, Aadhaar platform. Now the Aadhaar, usage of Aadhaar has been growing, as you can see, although there are debates, there are controversies, but the fact remains that the usefulness of Aadhaar has been known by many. So in that platform, really, we are working. We are very privileged. The digitization is a force that is bound to happen. In this connection, very recently, during the demonetization stage, we launched the BHIM product. It is a mobile remittance product. It was already IMPS was there, UPI was there. Government want a special product. We have developed BHIM, a very revolutionary product, very easy to really carry out the work. Today I had the privilege of being in the campus of Professor Ramanna, and in the class, really we saw how the people can really, in the matter of 45 seconds, they could send money to one another. And we did a contest also, the first finger. 15 people could do it in hardly about 10 seconds. They could really send money to each other. It is as fast as that. So the mobile is going to be definitely a very preferred mode. Very eloquently, very vividly, very clearly, Rath Saab has really explained to you how the digital revolution is making changes in the way we really live today. For a simple example that I will really give, and my favorite, I have picked up from Nandan Nilekani, that previously, before the arrival of WhatsApp, all the people used to send messages through SMS. Now many of us have migrated to WhatsApp. Is not it? Many of us has really, because WhatsApp is easy, along with the WhatsApp really we can send video. In the messages, previously the messages, if it exceeds some 100 or some 200, 300 character, it becomes automatically too large a message to be sent. But in WhatsApp, really possibly limit is, there is no such limit, or significantly large amount of data you can type out, you can send. All the telcos in the world put together, all the telcos, 7 or 8 telcos from India, in US some 20, 25, in Europe, all put together, whatever messages they were handling, after the WhatsApp came, nearly 1,000 times more than all the telcos put together, It is WhatsApp have revolutionized the way people really send messages. Not only just text messages, they can really send sound, visual, and many other things. The way WhatsApp has revolutionized the way people send messages to one another. Why not? The way we make payments to one another, a similar revolution is in the offing. And BHIM, IMPS, UPI combined is a form of payment which will revolutionize these things. So I will, in fact, that is why we wanted to visit a few institutes here in Bhubaneswar. Means we are going to different parts of the country also to check how well received or how easy or difficult it is for this system to really get operational. I'm very happy today, XIMB, when we were there, really almost 99% people could really do it in 46 seconds. They could really do the transactions. So it is possible, but this may not be possible so easily, because as it was really told in so many in Orissa, out of 4,600 Gram Panchayat, very revealing statistics Mr. Saab really quoted. About 4,500 do not have bank branches. So the reach of the banking system to the people is also very limited. From the NPCI side, we have done a bit of job. We have really brought 2 RRBs, the State Cooperative Bank and the DCCBs under our platform. But to reach the level, still then the deficit is so big, lot of literacy program has to be done. In fact, literacy and awareness is the key. We are just building systems. They are fundamental. They are but they are necessary, absolutely necessary, but they are not sufficient. That gap can be bridged by institutions like that one that Mr. Mishra has created. And similar institutions, many more institutions are required to operate at every district. The districts in India are also so big. It really, at one point of time, before the new 30 districts, before there were 13 districts in India. And one district was there, Koraput district. And Doctor is there, Behra is there. Koraput district was bigger than Kerala. Can you imagine? Bigger than Kerala, bigger than the state. Now, fortunately, there are 4 districts now. So the districts are also so big. In fact, we need to really far-flung area. We'll have to really see that financial services reach there. That and really everybody is brought to the platform. Assistance mode is absolutely necessary. People in the villages require a lot of assistance. My village comes from Nuapada district. Previously, it was Kalahandi district. And I was very happy to hear that Dr. Behra was a collector in Kalahandi also, my district. So we took up my village, and my village is a very small one. But fortunately, because of lot of village of teachers, only 1,200 people in the village population. But we have a RRB branch, we have an ATM. There are 7 shops. In all 7 shops, the POS machines have been installed. And in fact, he is going after this program, he is going to my village once again to do a survey and make an assessment whether people are using it. I do understand they use it. Sometimes they have complaints. He's there to really address them, to assist to that, and to people who have got really grievances, to handle the grievances, to see that the financial inclusion initiative that is done is sustained. Lot of hard work is required. I was talking to Jana Saab really before this thing. Financial inclusion is not an easy job. And it cannot happen only by circulars. It cannot happen only by institutions like NPCI. It cannot happen only by developing a state-of-the-art product like BHIM. It requires, because it involves money. It is not just text messaging. A little more care, security is all that is necessary. And institution like Abhithan Financial Learning Center would definitely would be of great help. It is a pleasure being here, and I'm honored and to be the speaker for this event. I get greatly privileged that I am in a position to come back to my home state and really speak to you all. Thank you very much for being here.